What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the charts are showing and based off what the data is suggesting. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market and how this could affect NIO as well, and also what NIO put on their Twitter page, which is brilliant news for the company as I'm super bullish. Now, before I break anything down for the long-term future, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is you could always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. It's also important to note that out of these 12 free stocks, one of them could be a free Apple share as well. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 4 days, so please check it out before they run out. It's a limited time offer. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So NIO made an absolutely beautiful move on Friday, up 8.37% for the day. Let's go. And I'm going to talk about whether or not we're going to see a continuation to the upside, or is it likely that we're going to start coming down, and what zones should you watch for to really understand that. So what I'm pretty optimistic about is because when you look at the fear and greed index, the market was fearful a couple of days ago. Now, all of a sudden, the market is shifting more on the neutral direction, which is a sign that the bulls are gaining control, and the market is gaining a little bit of confidence as of right now. And if we look at the overall trends right now, the price comparison between NIO and the SPY, you'll notice that they tend to be similar, but right here near the very end of this, they actually came down at the same time. They're both pushing up at the same time as well, which is kind of like indicating that there is a correlation between them, and it may actually help NIO if SPY continues to push up too. So what's going on with the market? Well, if we look right here on SPY, I'm noticing something very interesting. So we actually gapped up, we pushed up pretty well going into Friday. And after that, if we look at the overall trend, we got a nice bounce off this trend line, and it does look like it wants to push up to this zone right here. We have lots and lots of chomp and lots of price action. So if I zoom out like this, look at this zone right here where my cursor is. It's a little bit far. I'm going to try to get this a little closer. Anyways, right here, this 409 to 413 zone, I'm specifically talking about this part right here. It actually extends as high as 416, but we're just talking for now about around that 410 range. So right here, SPY came here. It was very choppy once and it got rejected and crashed. That's when it went to its low of the year. But there was another time where SPY came right here. See right here? And this thing actually broke to the upside and pushed all the way up to 431. And now it looks like we're approaching the zone right here. It looks like we're going to come here. And where we go really depends on current market events. Now, considering that it looks a little bit more bullish than bearish, I think this is going to be a good sign for NIO. So when it comes to NIO, if you look at the overall setup, NIO was on a bit of a downtrend, but we are starting to show some signs of a nice bounce. So on the 5 minutes, I want to show you guys this. Some people have interpreted this as kind of like a head and shoulders, like from right here, the push up that we got. And the question is, do we continue from here? The inverse head and shoulders was here. Do we continue to push up after? And it really depends on how the market kind of reacts. So I'm going to give you guys my prediction in a second. I want to go over the more bearish and bullish possibilities. First, guys, remember, we have the gap all the way down here. This is as low as like the 17s for NIO, but we also have a gap up here to about $20 a share, or very close to about 20. So what do I think is likely to happen? Well, here's what you have to watch for. It depends on the market, that's the first thing, but it's very important to look at support and resistance levels. So what I'm watching for is this. So I'm not going to give you guys my prediction yet. I'm going to go over the possibilities first, and then I'm going to give you my prediction. All right, so let's go over the bullish possibility. If you're watching NIO tomorrow, let's just say the market is just rallying, we're getting lots of volume, and that's typically what happens when we have like nice Fridays. Mondays tend to follow that way. So what would happen is NIO is going to test that $19.30 range. If we break above that, then 19.5, the range around there, 19.5 to 19.6, lots of resistance right there. If we break past that, this thing is going to push all the way up to about $20 a share, come very close to that zone right over there. Maybe trade kind of sideways after that, but hold up pretty darn well. And that is what NIO is likely going to do if we actually get a break to the upside and break past that 19.6 range. So let me actually draw another line just to give you guys a good view of it. So like around here, 19.5 to 19.6, break this line, this thing is going to 20 most likely and filling the gap all the way up here within the next day or so. I do think NIO could do that. Now, let's just say, for instance, the market does poorly, the market ends up taking a big hit, and over the next, like, I would say 2 days, let's just say something doesn't go as planned. Well, we have this gap down here. If NIO is going to fill this gap, how would you guys actually have a key indication of that? You have to watch how it opens. Let's just say it gets rejected, it breaks all the way down to about 19. And it breaks below that to like 18.75. That would still be okay. But if NIO ends up breaking down to 18.5, all right, and we actually struggle to hold 18.5, you see like 18.4 coming, in my honest opinion, we're most likely going to end up filling the gap over the next like couple of days. That would be a very bearish sign if this thing can't hold 18.5. So this would be a more bearish possibility if this thing doesn't hold 18.5, key zone right over there. So what is more likely to happen out of these two possibilities? In my opinion, I believe the blue line is most likely what we're going to see. I think NIO is going to push up a little bit more. And I think that because the first thing is, historically on Fridays for this market, they tend to be reflections of the start of the next week. So going into like last week, right? Last Friday, the market got destroyed. We took a massive hit last Friday. And what happened was, going into like the Monday of the previous week, which is like 3 days after Friday, we started to see lots of chop, even more red going into Tuesday. And it wasn't until like Wednesday when the market started to kind of switch directions and become make a nice bounce. So what I'm trying to say is, the last Friday that we saw a couple of days ago, the market was bullish. SPY got a nice bounce, pushed to 406. Tesla pushed up, almost hitting 300. Right? NIO was up 8.37%. We showed some nice volume, nice buying pressure from the bulls. It's more likely we push to the upside and see a move like this. And I do think that NIO's next target, if it breaks past 19.6, would be that 20. And I do think NIO could do that. I'm more bullish than bearish for Monday. And that's essentially what my prediction is. Now, another thing is, we have CPI coming out on Tuesday. And I really think that what's going to happen is, the market is kind of optimistic in a way because CPI is projected to not be that bad. I want to show you exactly why that is and why this could actually help NIO push to the upside. So I'm going to go into more details about CPI in my video for tomorrow, but just to give you guys a quick preview, look at the retail gas prices per month on average over the last couple of months. For instance, start from right here. For the month of June, we reached an all-time high, and this is not adjusting for inflation, but you understand my point. All-time high of $5.03. For July, $4.69. Then for August, $4.09. So big decrease in August. And when CPI is coming out, it should help CPI a bit because energy makes up a big part of its weight. And then real estate's also coming down thanks to like mortgages not being as demanded as before. So a lot of things are kind of like improving how things may end up moving. Now, the thing about CPI is, a lot of people are saying, oh, if CPI is low, the Fed may not be as hawkish. I don't really see it that way. I think the Fed's very fixated on a 75 basis point rate hike regardless. So really, if they give us a 50 basis point rate hike, the market's going to rally. I just don't think it's very likely. I think we're more likely to still get 75, and the Fed may continue to push for their 4% total federal funds rate hike for the year. So that's, in my opinion, the thing that could actually shift directions of the market if the Fed ends up coming out being very hawkish or saying something the market doesn't like. So I just wanted to put that out there, guys. Please be prepared for that just in case. But as of right now, for the short term, like I mentioned for NIO, still looks a little bit more bullish than bearish. And I am anticipating a move like this. Now, when it comes to the situation in China, you're noticing right here that this is kind of concerning to me, if I'm going to be as frank with you as possible. There are more shutdowns, more lockdowns in China thanks to the zero virus policies. And it's now actually hitting another city known as Xinjiang. And I apologize if I said that wrong, what's happening is we're starting to see this just expanding more and more and more as more people are getting into lockdowns. I read some reports saying that about 60 million people were affected, but now it's changing to about 300 million. So it's continuing to happen this way. This will in turn have an effect on NIO if it does increase more in Shanghai, and it's not the best of signs, guys. I really don't like to see this hurt NIO's deliveries and things like that. We know what deliveries. What happened to deliveries after the lockdowns from earlier this year. So I really want the best for NIO. I don't want that to really hurt us. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is this right over here. I'm still very, very bullish for the long-term future of NIO, regardless of what the choppy price action may kind of show us. Right here, we can see a summary of our Q2 2022 accomplishments, and you could see NIO had nice revenue, pretty decent revenue. It's not as high as like previous quarters because of the fact that they obviously had the shutdowns that really affected them, but their Q3 delivery guidance is still high. They want to get at least 31,000 vehicles, and I really believe that they could do it and reach an all-time high in quarterly deliveries. So they're projected to do very well this next quarter. I'm a lot more bullish than bearish. My only concern and the only thing in my opinion that could stop them or like slow them down that quarter would be the lockdowns in China. Really hope it doesn't escalate. Other than that, I'm still very optimistic for the future of NIO. A lot of the things that are kind of hurting them would be out of their own control. Besides that, I mean, they have nice cars. They have amazing supercars. Their SUVs are beautiful. They're entering the sedan business. They're expanding all over the world. Amazing, amazing chargers, not to mention their power swap stations. They're a fantastic company nonetheless. I'm still very, very bullish. With that said and done, thank you all so much for listening. I gave you guys my prediction, and I'll see you guys in the next video. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.